Hi everyone, and welcome to Terraview Talks. For this episode, I sit down with Dan Petroski. He's a winemaker at Massican and Larkmead Vineyards, one of the oldest estates in the Napa Valley. But besides being an amazing winemaker, Dan has been very vocal about climate change and its impact on the wine industry. These are the topics we covered in this short interview, and I really hope you enjoy it.
It's very easy. We're fortunate here in the Napa Valley and in Sonoma County to be a very small community. And I hope that community can branch out globally and share more information. And we did see that, especially in 2017 and 2020 with the wildfires we experienced, where we were able to call on some of our friends and some of our past colleagues in Australia for some help with understanding how to deal with smoke taints. So I do think that the wine community as a whole, and especially here in Napa and Sonoma, has been so collaborative, so open to communicating and letting each other know what their experiences have been, sharing information, sharing data, to a point where it's shocking, because I don't know a lot of other businesses that have such an open book with regards to what we do and how we do it. There are no real secrets in winemaking, no real secrets in viticulture. The secret to success is just being open and honest and transparent about what you do, and building a network of people. I feel here in Napa Valley for more than 20 years, since the dawn of the wave of phylloxera that took over Napa Valley in the 80s and the early 90s, with the replanting of our vineyards in the last 25 plus years, we have gotten so good at managing against heat and managing against the warmth. I think that, the old idea was to have these California sprawl bush vines, these albarello that the Italians would call them. And we thought that the grapes weren't getting enough sun. Then we went to vertical shoot positioning and realized that the grapes were getting too much sun, too much warmth, and we had to kind of protect against that. So we've been dealing with this with extended heat and heat waves and cumulative growing degree day issues for quite some time under the new viticultural norms of the Napa Valley. So I don't find that we're struggling to manage against the cumulative heat. It's when we start to see extremities or extremes, when you deal with earthquakes and wildfires and then droughts and then record rainfall. These are the things that the challenges are going to make it really hard to be successful in the future, because I do believe that we're on a viticultural basis, we're doing everything we need to do. We have the science, we have the research, we have the collaboration, we have the boots on the ground resources to fight climate change in the vineyards. There will be more, for sure, and there will be new thought process, and there will be this new word for regenerative farming. It's classic old school farming, modernized today with a healthy understanding and ecosystem. And I do think that all of this is going to lead towards kind of a global community to come together to fight climate. And and technology is on our side. We have more access to technology today than we ever have, and to understand not only what's happening above ground, below ground, in the vines themselves. So we're in a pretty good spot right now to tackle these challenges. It started because I love wine. I came to the wine industry as a wine drinker and an eater of food and restaurants, and I don't ever want to see that go away. And I want to see the wine quality get better. I want to see the food get healthier that we eat. And so when I've been in this job for, as you said, over 10 years now, 14, 15 years, I'm starting to realize that trends are very important, and watching data and watching trends and moving them forward and understanding what the challenges are going to be in front of you, you can see that. And I hate to say that it's on paper, but it's on paper. You can see it. And I took that from my previous life as in sales and marketing in a publishing company in New York, as I understood the consumerism of our magazines, of Time Magazine and Sports Illustrated, like how consumers read those magazines, why they read those magazines, what we could predict from that data. And so for me, it was about, I saw the data and it didn't look good. The world was talking about this. The Paris Climate Accord, like everyone's talking about this since 1990, right? This is not a new conversation. But when it hit home to me, not only as a lover of wine, but actually a member of the community, as an employee of the industry, and I'm going to fight for my industry. I'm going to fight for my love, and that was it. It just, sometimes people can't see the forest from the trees because they're so stuck in the here, the now, and the moment. We're looking at the future projection. For me, it's all about projecting out what the future looks like. I want to know what the next 125 years of Larkmead looks like. Without knowing what the climate's going to be in the next 20 or 30 or 40 years, how can I predict our long-term viability as a business? It's my fiduciary duty to predict that because I'm the winemaker. So it's pretty scary moving forward. There's a lot of shock and awe. But I also feel that we're prepared to accept it, to work with it, and with the right choices moving forward and the right work ethic and the right commitments, we'll still make the best wines in America will be made in Napa Valley 20 or 30 years from now, even if it's 120 degrees Celsius outside. It's very simple to continue to make delicious wine over time. My current philosophy is quality and consistency over time. That's what all the great estates have done, whether it be a Bordeaux First Growth or a Tuscan estate or DRC in Burgundy. Quality and consistency over time. If we can continue that with the challenges that we're going to face moving forward, then we will be successful. We just have to keep focused on the reality that we have to get out of our here and now and open up to the world, but open up to what's happening in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Wine businesses, the romance of wine is the generations of wine behind it and the history and the story. There will be no future history of wine if we don't combat climate change on the ground. I'm just doing something that I'm very fortunate to do. Not a lot of people have the opportunity to do it. So I got into wine as from a drinker's perspective and love the history of wine. So to actually be creating history, to be putting wine under cork that will have an impact to hopefully someone else. The way I felt about wine when I first had my first few glasses of wine, that's brings me joy. And to know that, I can potentially, shape history in some way, shape, or form as a winemaker here in this particular moment. And I'm really lucky. I'm from New York City, and I will say this. I don't feel like California is my home. I feel like I've came here for an internship, and it was almost a vacation, and I've never left. We'll see. Maybe not New York. Maybe upstate New York, and or back to Europe. I did have a good chance to spend a year living in Sicily, right out of after my career in publishing. And the Mediterranean is still calling me back. We'll see.